Okay. Today the topic is... I'm going to start over. Okay, so topic for today is ein and kein words. Okay, so Wörter is the word for words. Okay. Does anybody know what ein or kein means? Eins? But it's based on that. Ein is the word that means or an, depending. Okay. So they don't have the thing where it's based on the first letter of the word that follows it. Okay. But they have something else that determines what kind of ein word it is. What about kein? Oh, good guess. No? Think about like last week on Thursday and Friday on the calendar. It said keine Schule. No or none. Yep. So it's a word that means you have no or none of something.
We had kind days of school yesterday.
You just said you had kind days of school yesterday? You had school yesterday. That doesn't make any sense. So you had keine Schule on Thursday and Friday. Okay. So we're going to put together a little chart. Okay. So if it was masculine, feminine, neuter, plural. Okay, this is what our chart's going to look like. First, let's do the der, die, das words so that you make sure you're on the right track. Which der, die, das word do you use if it's masculine? Der. What about if it's feminine? Die. What about neuter? Das.
What does that mean to be neuter?
Literally genderless. But we don't use genders for nouns in English. So it's a different concept to us. So in Spanish they have like el, la, los, and all that jazz. They don't have a neuter though in Spanish or French, I don't believe. Okay. What about plural? What does it always change to if it's plural? Die. Good. Okay. So we're going to go from there. These words are just like the mine and meine words. Okay. So if it was a der word, how do you say my? Mine. What if it was a D word? Meine. Because that E is your tip. Okay. What about a das word? Mine. Oh. And what about plural D? No food. Okay. So these E's match as well. With me so far? So that's not new to you. Yep, I'm not changing charts at all right now. Don't worry.
When would you use my plural? When would you use mine or plural? Like
My books. It's always based on the word after it. It has nothing to do with the my part to determine that name. It's always the word after it. Okay. So now if you're going to do words, they follow the same pattern. Okay? So if it's masculine, all you do is get rid of that M off of mine. And now you've got ein. Okay? So feminine is going to become eine. So you still have that E thing going on. What's neuter going to be? Ein. Now, trick question. What about plural? Kinda. Can you have plural us? No, there's no such thing. You can't have plural ands either. No, you can't. Implies singular, automatically. So therefore, plural or an, and they're just the same word based on the ending changes, but it's the same concept. So plural or plural ands don't exist. Okay? So it doesn't exist. It's not over here. So if you've been following along in the chart up top over here, in the plural column we just put the kinda word so that you can learn what the ending would be for that. But since we're going to do the kinda words, there's no plural okay? Doesn't exist.
Oh, we're having that.
Yep. Which I suspect one person had already figured out. Using resources wisely. Okay. So, now if you were going to do the masculine form, all you're doing is putting that K at the beginning of the word. Okay? So now, instead of ein, it's kein. And you keep following that pattern across. So what's feminine going to be? Kinda. And you still have that E as your theme. Okay. What about neuter? Kein. What about plural? Keine. And this one does exist. So if you said keine Bücher, for example, no books. You got it. What about keine Schule? What does that mean? No school. What about kein Buch? No book. Singular. What about kein Bleistift? No pencil. Okay? So it's always based on the word that comes after it, whether or not it has that ending on it or not. Does that make sense? Does this chart make sense? Okay. So we're going to do a few random things today. So we're going to do some verbs and some random vocabulary and stuff like that. Okay? So, here we go. Let's start with some verb conjugation. When we do this, at some point in time I'll get this little file up for you. But if you were doing paper and pen type notes, or if you'd rather just do this in addition to your iPad stuff, I have a manila folder up on the front table next to the apple, and it has 12 of those verb teas on it, so you can fill it in right on there. So like this. If you do it on this type of sheet, it's nice because then you can have all of your verbs together. It'll have the verb, it'll have the meaning, it'll have how to conjugate it, so it's a quick, easy access. Okay? So I'm happy to pass those out to people. The other thing, if you're doing iPad stuff, the other thing that you could do is write it on here, and then use your iPad to take a picture of it and insert it into your notes so you have it in 2 places. So it's easier to access when you need it in class as well as in your notes where it belongs. Okay? Yep, you can do it either way. Whatever is easier for you. So, if you would like one, raise your hand and I will come around and pass them out for you. Here we go. So, on your verb sheet, next to verb. I don't know, not writing utensils, you need to come prepared to class.
I want to log in.
Okay. So the verb is gehen. Everybody try that, gehen.
Gehen.
What does gehen mean? To go. So next to meaning, you're going to write to go. Okay. This is a nice normal verb. So when we conjugate normal verbs, what's step 1? Take off the N or EN. In this case, we have the EN. So that's going to go away. And then from there, you add your ending back onto it. So what is ich going to become? Gehe. Good. You add the E back on. What about du? Gehst. Everybody try that. Gehst. What about er, sie, es, and man? Mm-hmm. You recognize that verb from V. Gates? That's where it comes from. What about wir? Gehen. Ihr? Geht. And Sie and Sie? Good. Okay, next verb. Seen this one. Talked about it a couple days ago. What does kommen mean?
Come from.
To come. The from part is the aus. So by itself, it just means to come. Okay? Okay. So step one, what are we getting rid of? En. Okay?
Cold.
And then you add your ending back on. So ish is going to become what? Koma. Everybody, koma.
Coma.
Almost like coma. Like I'm in a coma. Okay, but coma. It'd be much more difficult to teach you German. I have a bunch of old videos somebody could post for. What about du? What's that going to become? Kommst. Er, sie, es, ein Mann. Kommt. Wir? Kommen. Ihr? Kommt. And sehen Sie? Kommen. Is this making sense how this works?
Yeah.
Jamie?
What is the perfector prater?
Oh, the perfect and the preteritum are two forms of past tense.
Oh no.
Do you write down?
You don't need to worry about those for now. You may past tense you will learn at the end of German 2. So you got a ways to go, yeah.
Past tense, yeah.
But people tend to keep their verb teas from year to year, so then it's an easy place to go back and add them in. All right. Last verb for today. How do you think you'd say that one?
Wohen.
Vo,
Wohen.
vonen. So you got two N's in there. Okay, everybody try that one again. Wohnen. Okay. It means to reside or to live. You can't just say something like he lives, like he's alive, that kind of thing. It doesn't work for that. This is talking purely about where you reside, where you live. Okay? So there's a different verb for the other one. Okay? But this is, again, nice and normal, so what are we getting rid of first? En. So ich is going to become what? Wohne. Everybody, wohne. What about du? Wohnst.
Won't.
Er, sie, es, ein Mann?
Won't.
Wohnt. Mhm. Wir? Wohnen. Ihr? Wohnt. Und sehen Sie? Wohnen. Alright, so back to regular style notes here. We're going to go through a bunch of different types of objects. Okay? Different things that, some of them you already actually saw in your My Portfolio and textbook stuff from yesterday. Okay? So, let's see what you remember. Okay, so remember after the hyphen is how to make it plural? How do you say that? Die Good. Anybody remember what that is? Clock. It can also be used for watch. Mm-hmm. Okay. Watch is technically Armbanduhr, which makes sense. It's a clock on a band around your arm. Armbanduhr. Okay. But frequently they'll just shorten it up to Uhr, because Armbanduhr is a long word to say for something. Okay. What about this one? Chocolate. Good. Everybody try that one. Die Schokolade. Okay. Oftentimes when you are combining that with another word like chocolate ice cream or like even chocolate milk, they will take the first part, Schoko, and use that and get rid of the Lade part. So Schokomilch. Genau. Schokomilch or Schokoeis or whatever. Okay? But if you're talking about just a bar of chocolate, they usually just say Schokolade. Okay? Okay? Try that one. Die Sachertorte. Try it again. Die Sachertorte. Good. Everybody know what a tort is?
Like food.
Chocolate.
It is a type of food. It's a tort is actually the word that we'd use in English as well. Okay, it's a fancy type of cake essentially. Okay, Sachertorte is a specific fancy cake. Okay, this is an Austrian. I almost said Australian. Austrian chocolate cake. Okay.
So, what makes it so special? From Austria?
Are you familiar with the Black Forest chocolate cherry cake?
A little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. It's a specific cake, like how you mix it and what's in it and all that stuff. So it's not just a regular kind of.
So
Okay.
like we have chocolate and vanilla and birthday cake, and that's basically just a different type from a different place and how you make it.
It's a special.
Yeah, we can look up a picture if you want, but there's also pictures in your book and stuff like that.
No, I think
Okay.
we need to learn like
Good.
You butchered that so far.
Oh, here it is. It comes up.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I'm not making it up. Okay.
Whoa, that looks good.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, next one.
Why did we learn that?
Wait,
It's in the book. So it's one of the things. Yeah,
Oh,
Sachertorte. So you can. Jimmy wants to show it up real quick there.
so good.
Well,
So
you should bring them in.
it's a specific type of cake from Austria that they specialize in. I mean, it's really good. It's I don't know how to explain it otherwise.
Nothing really like special, like a weird strawberry thing in it. It's just like chocolate cake.
Not that I recall. It's like yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay, try the next one. Das Auto. Okay.
Car.
Das Auto is a car. Short for automobile. Yeah.
Das Auto. Lambo.
Lamborghini.
Mercy.
Lambo.
Yeah, it's 2 R's in the middle. Okay. Try that one. Das Fahrrad. Okay. When you make it plural, which A are those going to go on?
The last one.
You got it. Everything is based on this word right here. Okay. So Fahr and Rad are 2 words shoved together. So everything is based on Rad. Fahrrad or Rad mean bike or bicycle. Okay. Rad actually means wheel. So you're saying driving wheel. Okay. Any guesses how you'd say unicycle? Ein
Einrad.
Einrad.
I know.
One wheel. Makes sense. Okay. So das Fahrrad becomes die Fahrräder. Okay. Alright.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Auto part, right?
Okay. So break this one down into 2 parts when you're pronouncing it. So you've got that first part. How would you say that? Photo. Yep. Yep. And Apparat. Try that. Apparat.
Apparat.
Okay. Photo apparat, when you combine them, does mean camera. Okay. Think of it as like an apparatus or something. I don't know. Maybe that'll help you. But it is a photo taking device.
Maybe it has the word photo of the camera.
Okay.
How do you know?
Next one. You've seen this word before. How do you say that one? Shara. Try that one. Die Shara. Do you remember what it means? Shears. It's my mom's name. Scissors. There you go.
Skizzers.
So remember, scissors are also called shears. So Shara. Shara the shears with me.
Isn't that what you use to like
Mm-hmm. That's what you use. Yeah. Oh, did you ask if this is the word for it? I don't believe so, no. Because it's scissors to them, not shears. So it's different. Alright.
Soccer.
This one has two meanings. Everybody try that one. Der Fußball. Okay? It does mean soccer, and it also means soccer ball. So when you're using the plural, you're not going to say soccers. Okay? So when you're using the plural of it, it's only going to be soccer ball. Okay? If you're saying the word soccer, like ich spiele Fußball, then you don't use the word. Okay? So it means soccer and it's not two B's in a row, it's an S set and then a B. Very, very different. Fußball. Mm-hmm. The word for Fußball is kicker.
That's tennis.
Kicker. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I forgot to ask you, when you're making Fußball plural, where are the umlauts going?
On the A.
On the A. Good, because you're making the word ball plural. Okay. What does der Tennisball mean?
Either ping pong or tennis.
Don't overthink it. Tennis ball. Okay. Tisch tennis is how you say table tennis or ping pong. Okay. So it's literally table tennis. How are you gonna make? Huh?
You spell tennis ball in German the same way as tennis in America.
It's because that's how it's spelled.
Bruh.
Yeah. Okay. How are you gonna make this one plural? Okay, so we're combining those two things that people are saying. So adding umlauts over the A, and then an E at the end. Good. How do you think you say tennis? Tennis, yeah. Sehr gut.
Wow, that's complicated.
Yeah. Letter S and F and stuff in the alphabet, though. People still screw it up because it's too easy, they think. Okay. Another easy one. Try that one. Die Pizza.
It's not.
Okay, so sometimes people say pizza, sometimes they say pizza. Kind of depends on the place. And yes, it does mean pizza. Okay?
Celery?
There's one every time. Yep. By the way, pizza you eat with a fork and knife in Europe.
Wow. No.
Germans do not eat with their hands. Okay? Very rarely. If they go to fast food place like McDonald's, they'll eat their hamburger or whatever with their hands, but their French fries they will still eat with the fork.
Bruh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
never. American there, but just
What?
yeah,
If it's-
Do they have McRibs there?
McRib? The sandwich?
Do they have them there?
Yeah.
The German McDonald's is actually huge.
Is it though?
That depends.
The
Yeah.
one in Munich, that thing was like massive.
Then again, it
Covered
isn't.
in-
Oh, the couple story one right next to the fountain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Germany, even in Germany.
All right. Moving on. Next one. Okay, guys, come on. All right. Try that one. Die Flasche. If it ends in an E and it's not already plural, the way to make it plural is just to add an N. Okay, die Flaschen.
Camouflage?
No, good guess though. This book is all about randomness.
Bottle.
It's a bottle.
Bruh.
Bottle.
Like water bottle?
Well, any kind of bottle. Yep. Pretty much any kind of bottle.
Like
Okay, next one. How do you say pencil? Bleistift. Okay. So it's a writing utensil. So since it's der Bleistift,
Pen.
it's der Stift. Okay. So Stift you can use for a bunch of different things, but in this case, it is a pen.
Can you use it for a crayon?
Only if it's really obvious in the context. Pen, pencil is usually what they would use it for. Hmm. Let's do a couple more here. How do you say that word? Woche. Don't forget the E at the end. Die Woche. Okay? How do you make that one plural? Add an N. You got it. Okay? That's the word for week. As in 7 days in a week. Not strong.
Oh, that'd be Jimmy.
All right. Try the next one. Das Glas. Oh, come on. Das Glas. Okay. What does that mean?
Glass.
Glass, yeah, but not glasses, so it's not plural.
That's brilliant.
Okay. So it's just a glass, like drinking glass.
Guys, we don't clap.
Yeah. Knock on your desks. All right. Last one. It was kind of like a drum roll.
Das.
Okay, now before you say it, think about how a German would say it. So it's not das Problem. Problem. Everybody, das Problem.
Das Problem.
Problem.
You got it.
She just
Jimmy, she just said don't say it properly.
No,
I think they were translating at that point.
Oh, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
Das Problem. All right. That's it for your notes today. We're going to do some stuff with it tomorrow, so make sure you have everything ready to go. If you owe me late work, get that to me by tomorrow, yeah?